since you're going to be with such a esteemed group of members for our Founders Cup, let's get to know you a little bit more. So this is what we adapted: 35 questions from Marcel Proust, the French novelist and one of the most influential authors of the 20th century. His questions attempted to reveal the truest nature of an individual. Don Brown, our questions are intended to reveal the soul of the golfer. Are you ready for the 19th soul?
I am ready.
Question number one: when and where were you the happiest as a golfer?
I have to pray, probably, I won't say standing on number one at Pebble because that scares the crap out of you and there's a bunch of people watching, but, just being out at an iconic golf course. I only got to play it for the first time maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So having been a golfer for 20 plus years and in the industry for that long, and it was a beautiful day. So just being out at that place. My first time I played there, I parred all the par threes. So I think, that was a good feeling for me. I didn't play particularly well, but being able to walk off, knowing that I parred all the par threes, and actually I'm a 15 handicap. I parred 16, 17, and 18 to win my match. So, to be that level of golfer and play that well in those kind of iconic 3 holes was a pretty good feeling.
Number two: what's the scariest golf shot?
Also Pebble Beach, that first round. I think it's 13. I'm a terrible bunker player, and I'm in the bunker on the left side of that green, looking at a house that's got floor to third ceiling windows that have to probably be $20,000 a pane. And I'm looking at that knowing that I blade the ball out of the bunker all the time. And if I hit this into this house, that piece of glass is coming down. That is the scariest shot I've ever had to hit.
Maybe Jim Nantz or someone similar comes out and say, "Hey, is this your
I believe I actually just turned 45 degrees and just kind of made a weak attempt to pitch it back down the fairway. I'm like, the chance of me hitting a good bunker shot here are slim, so I'd rather just get it out of the sand and then back down the fairway and then chip back up from the grass.
Not abandon. If we're partners, we're fearless. Okay, we go for the wins and we break windows if needed.
Anything else, anywhere else, that's the case. Not when I'm looking at a $20,000 piece of glass that I can't expense. I don't think my boss is going to let me put that on the expense report.
Number three: what is your go-to order at the halfway house?
Usually it's just very classic: hot dog, mustard, and a beer. I'm a big craft beer guy, but on the golf course, I'm much more of a domestic light and cold. Give me a good old fashioned Bud Light, and I'm a pretty happy camper on the golf course.
Number four: what is the trait you most deplore in your own golf game?
My bunker game. I mean, to call it trash would denigrate trash everywhere. My regular Saturday foursome, those guys just, and especially whoever I'm partnered with that week, is just like, would you please go take a bunker lesson, do something? Because being in the bunker for me, I was mad when the USGA was considering allowing people to take a bunker as an unplayable lie. And you could take the 2 clubs drop out of there. When they did not pass that rule, I was upset because I would have taken the 1-stroke penalty every time. Because give me a lob wedge off grass behind a bunker and I'm going to get it close. It's 5 out of 10 times. Out of the bunker, it's 1 out of 20 times that I might even find the green.
Number five: what is the trait you most deplore in other golfers?
I don't want to say deplore because it's going to sound mean to a lot of the moms out there, but when you go play with your mom or somebody else who doesn't play a lot but is a very positive person, and you get the ball in the air but it's not a particularly great shot, but they're like, "Oh, good shot," and clap their hands, and you're like, "No, I had sand wedge in my hand to the front pin, and I hit it to the fringe on the back. Like, yes, it looked nice because the ball was in the air, but that's not actually a good shot for my skill level."
That is a tough one. No one's ever said that on the show here, but that is a good answer because and you're right. It's not deplorable, but it's one of those things when you're a golfer and you know it's not a good shot. What are we calling a good shot? It's not a good shot.
You're mad. You like, it's all you can do not to throw the wedge back at your bag, and good shot comes ringing out, and you're like, "Oh, it wasn't a good shot, but thank you, but
love
not
you,
a good
Mom.
shot."
Love you.
Yeah.
Number six: what is the quality you most look for in a playing partner?
Someone who doesn't take it too serious. Again, being a 15 handicap, like, I'm gonna hit some bad shots, and if I'm around someone who gets really upset about we're losing a match or losing a hole, I don't like that. I played, I'm in our member guest 2 years ago, and I'm in the lowest flight, so I'm in the lowest of 8 flights. And it just so happens that going into the last day, my partner and I are leading. But it's the fun flight. It's guys who are out there just drinking a boatload of beer because it doesn't matter. We're the lowest flight and the member guests. Like, we're here to have fun. The music blaring. The guy who's in third place walks up to me on the green, and not kidding you, he goes, we're going to be on your ass all day. And he's dead serious. He's not joking. He's taking the lowest flight that serious. And I just laughed. And I was like, well, one, I don't care. And two, I'm in the final group. You're not going to be behind me all day. You're going to be in front of me. And yeah, so I just don't need that in my golfing life. I enjoy the competition, but I'm really out there to have fun.
It's yeah, the hardos out there are always challenging. Number
Well,
seven.
if you're in the scratch group, yeah, and you're a bunch of former collegiate guys, take it that seriously. I'm literally trying not to, skull a sand shot into somebody's head, and I'm worried about whether or not I'm going to spill my beer or not, what the score is.
We call it healthy competition here at New Club.
Yeah.
There's a border that cannot be crossed. Number seven, what words or phrases do you most overuse on the golf course?
Not repeatable for public consumption.
Common answer. Number eight,
Yeah.
what golfing talent would you most want to have?
I hate to keep coming back to it, but yeah, bunker shots. The bunker shots are probably 4 or 5 shots around for me added to my score if I end up in the sand. It's yeah.
I like this next question for all of our equipment junkies. What is your most treasured golf possession?
I trying to think, one, I go through sub clubs so fast I don't get a chance to have like, hey, this is my most treasured item. I switch iron sets probably once every 6 weeks. Maybe, there's one that's kind of cool is I get to play at the Monterey Peninsula Country Club, which is not a place, a benefit of my job is I got to go play there. So just my head cover from there is kind of cool in that nobody else kind of has one of those. So I think that's a pretty, there are a lot of people that have them, but it's a rare item among the head cover world.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Making the turn. Number 10. What's the one thing in your golf bag you should throw out?
There's probably right now at least 3 empty ball boxes in my bag and probably a couple wrappers from whatever various kind bar or 19th 18th hole bar I had at the turn. So I'm really bad about, and my course doesn't have a ton of trash cans on it, so I'm always jamming trash into the pocket of the bag and then I never clean it out. So that's probably the one thing that needs to get chucked.
I call that the Bruce Litsky. He's the guy that never practiced and they pull his bag out for like the tournament champion at Century one year. And his caddy's like, what the hell is that smell? There's like a turkey sandwich and a banana that have been in there for 4 months. So you got maybe a little Bruce Litsky bag. Your favorite occupation in golf?
Well, this is gonna sound dumb, but mine's not bad. Having spent 22 years doing this now, I started as an engineer, so I got to design product, which really kind of tickled the math brain. But now I'm in charge of our marketing and branding, so I get to name shafts, get to work on commercials, run social media. I'm very fortunate to have had the career I've had. I think if it wasn't this, I was a greenskeeper for a while, but my dream job when I was in like middle school was to be a shorter to cook at a bowling alley. So maybe being the guy grilling hot dogs at the turn would be a good retirement job for me. Just slinging hot dogs and Bud Lights as people come through on a muni somewhere.
I love it. I love it. Number 12, have you ever asked another golfer for their autograph? If so, who?
I'm not a big autograph guy, but I've asked for ones for from various players for things to hang in the office, like the Henrik Stenson one. Our social media manager is from Kansas, so he wanted a Justin Thomas signed flag from the PGA Championship. So we made that request, but never been a big autograph guy because I'm extremely unorganized. So like I could have a signed Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie card, and I wouldn't know where to find it in my house. So the valuable small things like that are not good for me to have because I would definitely just lose them.
Number 13, what historical golf figure do you most relate to?
I don't always love his behavior, but maybe Sergio, because I get kind of fiery where I do stupid stuff. I've been known to break clubs. Also, just it's really, I obviously grew up, I'm the same age as Tiger. So as Tiger was turning 19 and starting to play professionally, I was, watched golf then and was obviously got caught up in that. But I remember like one of my most distinct golf memories was I think it was a PGA Championship where it was Tiger versus Sergio, and Sergio was the young guy. And I've been out, I was 23. It was, Sunday. I've been out day drinking all day as my buddies. And we've been bar hopping, but we've been following the tournament as we bar hopped. And Sergio hit that shot where he ran up the hill and did like a little split kick jump to see where the ball went. And for some reason that's always stuck with me, as we're like, like that kind of fun golf and that enjoyment in golf, is something I still remember to this day. Exactly. The bar that I went to is long gone at University of Washington, but I know exactly where it was when I saw that. And so I think, and then again, knowing that, I don't ever spit in the cup, but like I said, I've been known to snap a few wedges here and there.
I thought you were gonna say it's because you're a big Texas Longhorn fan, because we all know Sergio's diehard Longhorn fan.
That's Keenan who runs our social media. He's the big Longhorn. I'm a Husky fan, which has been a little rough the last few years. But
number 14, what is your greatest golf regret?
I think maybe not taking it up sooner. My dad has always loved the game. Tried to get me into it in middle school and high school, but I just didn't have the patience for it. Started playing in college where it was a lot more of it was just about drinking beer. We actually had a fifth bag that we lined with plastic that we'd fill with beer and ice, and whoever lost the last hole had to carry the beer bag on the next hole. That was the kind of golf we were playing. It wasn't really till, really when I got to True Temper that I started playing a little bit more. And then in the last probably 10 years that I've really started taking it seriously. And then the last 2 years or so, where now like I have a Saturday game. I was actually very crestfallen this morning. I'd already set up our Saturday game with our usual group, and then saw on the on the club's Instagram that there's a tournament tomorrow and the course is closed. And I was like, oh man, like it's the highlight of my week, and
Right.
that kind of ruined my weekend that I'm not going to get to play tomorrow.
Number 15, do you have a favorite golf book or golf movie?
Movie, it's hard to beat Caddyshack. That's stranded on a desert island. 5 movies to go with is Caddyshack, maybe Tin Cup. I have a little bit of the, hey, you can walk up to the hazard, you just hit it in and drop the ball and hit it from there. No, I can make this shot. I'm going to hit this one again. I struggle with that, especially, there's a difference when you're just playing with your buddies and it doesn't matter. But when you're playing in a tournament or a match with a partner and you don't really think, and you just throw the ball down and hit another one before thinking about, man, I could have walked up 100 yards and dropped the ball up there rather than hit it from here. So I relate to that mindset a little bit.
Number 16 is a music question. It always needs a prelude. Do you listen to music on the golf course?
I do, and I don't when I'm on my normal Saturday games, just because we're walking, and so like having a Bluetooth speaker out there. If I'm in a cart, I'll turn it on. It doesn't bother me at all that people are listening to music, but it's not something I do regularly. But like again, if I'm playing in a casual around my buddies, we'll bust out the speaker in a cart at our club. It's funny, our club, like orientation. Someone asked the music question, and they're like, technically it's against the rules, but our carts all have speakers that aim into the center of the cart, so you can't hear music more than 10 yards away from the cart, and the volume's controlled. So if you do want to listen to music, we please ask that you use the speakers in the cart, not your own speaker.
So this question is, we have fun with it, and or will be turning each season into a playlist. If you had one song to listen to on the golf course for the rest of your life, what would it be?
It's probably going to be something yacht rocky, like Christopher Cross. Like I've really in the last couple of years gotten into yacht rock. So maybe like Arthur's theme, If You Get Caught Between the Moon and New York City might be up there, or Ride Like the Wind. Yeah. My girlfriend doesn't love that because we started dating about 2 years ago. And so I go over to her house and she's got her, Spotify open, and I would go over and put on yacht rock. So now when she's just working during the day and she puts on her, just play my favorite songs, it's full of a bunch of yacht rock stuff that she can't stand. So
the old Spotify.
Don't let other people play things on your Spotify if you don't want it to mess up your favorites list.
Oh, I'm very familiar with the Spotify takeover. My soon to be 2-year-old daughter has just gobbled up my whole thing. So now the same thing occurs to me, but it's always like Raffi, Family Folk, which I vibe with. I'm not against it, but yeah. You lose it. Number 17, here's a heady question. If you were to die and come back as a golfer or a golf thing, what or who would it be?
The golfer or golf thing? I think it's not necessarily a specific golfer, but it's like the retired, like the guys like my dad who they don't take it super seriously, but they hit the middle of, they hit it down the middle of the fairway, 210 yards, and then they hit a little bunt 3-wood, 180 yards, and then make a good chip and a good putt and walk off with a 4, and they're completely happy and content with it. Where they're not chasing speed anymore. It's not super serious, that they're just able to enjoy the fact that they're out playing golf, and it's not, this thing that causes them as much aggravation as it does joy. I think that's the one thing, about golf where, even I do that, where I go out and play, and, I leave the golf course and I'm mad about something. I was like, man, I just got to play. And I'm fortunate that, my company pays for, the membership I have. Like, I just got to play one of the best courses in the county and have lunch with my buddies. And, maybe I lost $10, but like $10 for a fantastic round of golf and a good lunch and 5 hours with my friends is a pretty good price to pay. So I think that's the one thing, is just come back as someone who doesn't stress about the score they actually shot.
That's a great answer. The life we live as golfers, that is the dream, I think.